Hello, my role-playing peeps. This is +4 Initiative Bonus one more time, bringing you an update on our Dungeons & Dragons 3.5 game, giving you some insights on what happened in our D&D game, updates on what's going on with Milo and the other characters in the group. Now, what happened? Now, to start with here, we did have another player actually join us for this game. It was actually the player that actually plays Kill Pond in our Mutants and Masterminds game. He actually, the little insight on like how he got here. The character, we had a 5-year time jump in our game a couple of months ago, and in that there was a certain time period in it that Kill Pond actually wound up like doing some dimensional hopping. So essentially what happened is the way we explained it is he got sucked into this dimension, he fell into some water and washed up on the shore. Well, where he was originally, where he was coming from 2 to this one, is he was actually in the World of Warcraft, actually, was on Azeroth, is where he was at originally. And when he's explaining this to us, basically our characters are, Milo's like, well, this just sounds like another D&D, another realm of existence, or this sounds like, something along those lines. So it was kind of like, okay, we just kind of accepted it because of the way it sounded, and then we moved on. So basically, it didn't really hinder the game in any way. It actually fit pretty well, actually, to be honest with you. But getting to the game, the way the game actually, if everyone remembers from the last update video, what happened was that we just got across the lake and we had just parked the boat and got to the point to where we could actually start our actual dungeon crawl, and that's where we left off last game. So that's where we picked up. So what we done as soon as the game started, I believe it was the cleric, which is the dwarf cleric, actually moved into the cave. When he moved into the cave, he seen bones everywhere, and he seen this old withered woman standing there amongst all these bones, a little pool of water that she was kind of standing in. He yells for us, and we all move in. Well, come to find out, this is a sea hag. She's talking to us, and we're all looking around, and finally Milo realizes that there's bones on the ground, and Milo looks down and looks at Fred and gives him the wink, and Fred smashes this sea witch, and we all surprise attack her, and she don't even get one attack on us. We murder the living piss out of this chick and kill her and turn her into a little greasy spot on the pavement. She actually wound up giving us a ring of water walk that in the end our rogue went up, I believe it was part of his share of the treasure. He took it. Now, amongst the bones, if you will, we come across a enchanted skull, and the skull was speaking. Do you remember the journal that Milo had from, I think, 2 episodes ago that I was talking about, that he went through and reading about? Well, this was his. This is the wizard. So now we have one of his journals, because that's what Milo found out, is like there's more than one journal. Plus we have him. So we got kind of like try to get him some information, things like that. We actually got something now. In this room that we were in, we actually searched it, and there was a chest hidden over in the corner amongst some bones, kind of covering it up. Our rogue managed to find a trap, disarm it, and then pick the lock. Gets it open. There is enough items in the chest for everybody. So there's a circlet, there's 2 cuffs, there was 2 rings, and I believe an anklet is what it was. But essentially what these do is they give you they'll allow you to breathe and function underwater as though you were on land, and they give you a swim speed of 60 feet around. So we can breathe underwater, things like that. Because we found a deep dark hole and a staircase that led down. So it was it's plumb full of water, so we have to move down into the water. So we go down. The rogue stays up top. He's kind of freaking out a little bit, and thinks like, well, I don't think I want to go. We're like, no, I'm gonna stay up here. I'm not gonna do that. And we were like, that's okay. Stay here and be a lookout. So we all move down. He stays up for a little while, and he starts hearing some things, and we start hearing sirens sing. Luckily, everybody managed to pass their rolls, so we were fine when it come to that, but he kind of got freaked out being up top by himself, so he goes down. Well, as we start going down, we realize we start feeling, well, the rogue starts feeling somebody play with his hair from behind. So he looks back and doesn't see anything, and it's gone, and jump to us. Now we're a little farther down the staircase, and Milo, not Milo, but our Parker, which is our rogue, our ranger, starts feeling the same thing. Well, Milo's right behind him. He sees this like hand coming out of the darkness, kind of playing with his hair. Milo, not saying anything, throws one of his throwing axes and hits it. Deals just a couple of points of damage till we hear a scream and a hand get pulled back. Well, we get down to the bottom of this staircase, and we basically enter the central chamber. Now, in this central chamber, giant, massive room. There's big, giant double doors that are kind of cracked open. Now, mind you, we're all underwater, and off to one side, well, on the opposite end of where the doors are, there's these stairs that go up, and at the top there is a throne, and on the throne sits, if you remember from my past videos, in the legend, Aphira, which was the priestess that everyone wound up worshiping. And due to some things, we realized that, like, she does have some divinity. She does have followers. It did have followers at one time. And we're searching all around, trying to find out what's going on. Our rogue stays at the door. He doesn't come to us. He's staying over there where the door's at. We're looking around. As we get within so many feet of the statue, there's a will check that's forced. If you fail the will check, you fall to the ground and begin worshiping her image. You begin worshiping her. Well, we do that, and everybody passes but Fred and our cleric. Fred and our cleric fall to the ground and start worshiping her, start kissing her feet, and things of that nature. Well, we're looking around this thing. Milo finds a symbol, which is not the symbol to her or the other god. So Milo start to think, like, well, why does this do it? I thought, personally, as a player, I thought, well, maybe this symbol is where this stuff is coming from. So Milo hits it. I'll just kind of deface the image. Well, he does. He tries to deface. He starts scratching it. We hear a loud scream come from all around us, and these 8 sirens come out of the darkness and attack us. When the sirens come out, they break the enchantment of Fred and our cleric. Well, Fred and our cleric move in on the symbol and begin smashing it. It takes them 3 rounds to smash this symbol completely. The rest of us are holding off the sirens. So we're fighting the sirens and shooting crossbow bolts at them and things of that nature. And Killpond, now mind you, this is the master of chaos, the master of randomness. He starts looking through his character sheet and realizes that, well, I've got rope and I've got a grappling hook. Okay, so he ties the rope to the grappling hook and throws it out. Now mind you, the rings allow us to function underwater. Anything that we are holding or using to function normally, as though we weren't in water. So he does that, and he uses the grappling hook to throw out to the sirens. He makes his attack check and hits them. Then he makes his grapple check with it, and then uses his used rope skill and pulls them to us, so we don't have to get closer. And he winds up doing this 5 times out of the 8. I'm sitting next to the player, looking at the roll as he's rolling it. He legitly rolled 5 different times. Well, actually, it would be 3, 6, 9, 12, 15 times he rolled successfully to get these sirens from 40 feet to here. 15 different times he done this. We wound up killing the sirens, and we wound up getting a couple pieces of treasure from them. Then Milo, we got enough XP from that to actually go to level 4. So Fred picks a level of Bard. I pick, as you can see in the image here, a level of Binder, which is in the Tome of Battle, I believe. No, wait, what is it? What is it in? It's not Tome of Battle. It is the Tome of Magic, which is the Pack Magic. It's got like the True Namers, the Binders. There's a couple other ones in that book, but it's Binders is what I actually took 1 level of. Now, if you know anything about this, they basically bind the vestiges of these ancient old gods that nobody worships anymore. These gods that have no power, they don't have any kind of worshippers, or if they have any worshippers, it's not many. It's like under 500. Like, they're few and far between. There's no temples of them left. Things like that. So they're weak, and these binders, what they do is they bind these creatures or these entities to their soul, and it essentially corrupts their soul permanently from that point on. And these vestiges take on aspects. They grant powers, and the player, the character, takes on aspects of the vestige. Like there's one called Amon that you grow goat horns and stuff like that. Now, that will come into play later. So since we've killed these creatures, we start looking around the room, and Milo finds on the back side of the throne, looks like a valve. Well, he starts turning it. It clicks once, clicks twice, and he clicks to the 3rd time, and the whole throne starts sinking down. So everybody kind of piles on and kind of goes down with it. Well, this throne takes us to a chamber, and it seems as though everything in this chamber is preserved. Okay? Seems like everything in this is actually preserved. So, we see the other entity that was actually part of the legend. Typhus, who is the god of tyranny, I believe, conflict, things like that. He's old, he's decrepit, he creaks when he walks. He's a god with no worshippers and no power, essentially. And we start speaking to this thing, and he starts making his way to the statue. He starts making his way to the statue. Now, with that, I start using the Binder's level 1 ability, which is called Soulbind. And in it, I draw an image on the ground of whatever this creature's symbol is. I got to have some requirements and things like that. Now, before I'd done all of this, I asked the GM, I was like, does this chamber qualify as requirements? Is this, and this? And she said yes, and yes, and yes, and yes. And I was like, all right, now the only thing is like, can I use this chalk that I have to actually draw on the ground, draw the symbol on the ground, because we know that we are underwater? She's like, I'm going to do a 50-50 chance if yes you can or no you can't. I was like, okay. She rolls, I can. So I look at Killpond and Fred and say, keep him talking. So I go over to the corner, I go in the middle of the room, and I start drawing the symbol. Now this dude is not really talking to me. He's more interested in talking to Fred and Killpond and his beloved, who is now returned to him. So he starts walking over there, and I start drawing the symbol. I said, I want to get the symbol done, and before I activate it, I'm going to wait just until he goes to actually touch her, or if he's going to. So I watch him, and he actually gets right to the point to where he's getting ready to touch her face, her stone face, and I activate the symbol. When I activate the symbol, it sucks him from her to the symbol, and she's manifest. He's there, and he's bound, and he can't leave the symbol, the circle. So he starts flipping out. He gets mad and angry, and I make a pact with him because that's what binders do. The pact was I would spread his word and get his name out, possibly getting more worshipers for him, things of that nature, if he released the curse on the area and brought the temple back. Some roleplay was back and forth, but eventually he agrees, and then I roll my check. Now with binders, if I fail my binding check, he's basically in control. Basically. If I pass it, I'm in control. I have to do this every day, every 24 hours, I have to do this. Okay? And if I fail it, it's bad. Now I can change vestiges every day if I want to, but once I bind a vestige to me, that's it for 24 hours. I was like, okay. So I rolled. It was I got my bonus altogether was a +5. So I rolled. I got a 12 +5. So I got a 17. Bam, and I bound him. And I asked her, like, all the level 1 vestiges that are in the book are either 15 or 20. I was like, whichever one you want to set it to, I'll try to get. She thinks, and she goes, well, because everything is, since he has no power and he's been down here for millennia, we're going to say the binding is only a 15. I was like, awesome, cool. So I do the little binding, and I bind his soul to me. And he tells me to touch her face. I go over and I touch her face, and he draws all the power, the curse, out of the area and the temple through her into me. Into him. So the temple actually physically raises up, and everything is all nice and clean now, not waterlogged and rotten. And then she turns back to flesh. And her name was, like I said, her name was Aphira, and she is like his lead priestess, but she has some divinity to her too. We're not able to determine exactly, but she does have some divinity about her. And as soon as we get up to the top, now mind you, in this place also we do find some treasure. She allows us to take some of her jewelry and stuff like that. We find Typhus's armor and sword, now, which is a big great sword. The sword is a sentient weapon. We don't touch it. We wrap it in something and take it with us. We know that it's a sentient weapon, and the ego check on this thing, the DM said that nobody can, the group could not pass it. If he rolled a 20, it does not matter, because the ego check is like a 43. So there's no possible way that we can actually get this. So we wrap it in something and don't touch it and put it in the bag of holding. We have this armor we put in the bag of holding, which is full plate mail. We go up and out the front doors when we do. Now, if you remember last video, I talked about we found all these people that had been turned to stone and things of that nature. Well, they're now all flesh and blood again. Well, Milo gathers all these people up and he starts spinning the tale of this god and how the god released them, and this whole rigmarole, this whole performance. And I actually rolled. She forced me to roll a performance on this, and I got a 24 on my performance check. And so it was really well. And a lot of people captivated everybody's attention, and Aphira comes out and he throws it to her, and she starts preaching Typhus's word, and we slowly kind of just fade into the background and leave. We go back to the hut. The log, the woodcutter's hut. We spend the night there. The a forest is no longer a swamp. It's no longer dark and evil. Now it's just a dense forest. Is all it is. We can see this. We can see the sun now. We make it back to Baba Yaga's little hut, and she lets us come in, and the skull, Merrick, which is the name of the skull, the name of the wizard, apparently they used to date, and they spend the night talking and catching up, and we move from there to Bob, which is our original campsite, and that's where we divvy out treasure. Everybody got so much gold apiece. We decided we were going to sell the +1 Vorpal cleaver. We're going to sell it. We also gave the armor to our cleric. The reason why we done that is, of course, he needed it desperately, very bad. He got his hind end kicked this whole time we were there. So he's got this armor. The sword we're keeping, and essentially what we're going to do is once we get to a point to where we can purchase a property, we're going to build something on the property, a temple to Typhus, and we're going to put the armor and the sword in there and charge people to come see it and worship at it and things of that nature. It's going to be a long-standing actual source of income for us. But yeah, and that's essentially where the game ended. It was very good. It was the end of this story. Everybody had an awesome time. It was great. We got to level 4. I'm not 100% sure what we're going to be doing next. I know we're going to be traveling back through. We're going to stop back at the Barbarian Citadel that was there, and Fred does have a boxing match or a wrestling match with one of the guys there, and we should be able to make it there in enough time. And that's where we're at right now. So that's where we're going. It was really good. The game, it had been like 5 or 6 games, and it was really good. Everybody enjoyed it. The way that this ended, the DM did not expect it to happen. I did not pick Binder to do this. It was completely out of left field. We did not realize that we was going to do it. She just simply said no, no, no to all of it, and it would have been fine. We would have dealt with it however we would have dealt with it. But the way it turned out pretty cool. It was awesome. So I'm going to leave it right there. We're sitting at about 22, 23 minutes right now. I'm going to leave it right there. Next, I'm going to try to make this a normal thing every Wednesday. We're going to be doing the D&D 3.5 update. Also, we'll be doing another video probably tomorrow about Dungeons & Dragons, actually talking about a game that I actually had an idea of running, and we'll be discussing it. Now, that video will probably be long, but that's tomorrow. So just remember to like and subscribe. Hit the little dingy button in the corner so you'll know that when I actually post videos. Go to the channel description. You can get to my Facebook. You can get to my Twitter. You can get to my Instagram. Links to all of that. Remember to like and subscribe and share this so other people come and like and subscribe my channel. And I'm going to leave you with this. Once again, my name is +4 Initiative Bonus, but I'm going to leave you with this. I am a GM, but I'm also a player, and I am here for you.